Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of The Faux Show. Today is Saturday, April 5th. My name is Angela.
And my name is Chris.
And as most of you know, The Faux Show is not a real show. It is a social experience because I don't look at you. I look at the chat room I have here on my iPad.
Oh, the chat room. I have that full screen on a tablet. What?
It's over there. Over there.
Doesn't matter, Angela.
No. On the monitor where we can see ourselves.
Took too long. Doesn't matter. It is built in the best lower third on the internet. What's unique about this internet, not only is it a pioneer of the chat lower third all over the internet, which is, a little quiver in our whatever, but also built on the misconceptions of what the technical term lower third means. We've combined all of that misinformation and misconceptions, and we compiled it into a lower third graphic, which we call the JBLive.tv
lower
chat
third,
room.
you are misinformation.
No, I'm saying we've taken the thoughts of misinformation about the...
Okay, so... all right, well, so today, as you can see in the subject line over there...
Boom. We're talking about something local.
Yeah, we're talking about the 530 slide, which if you are into hashtags, you could search hashtag 530 slide.
Yep, there's lots of people on there right now that are on the tweeting about it all the time.
Yep. So basically, there is a highway, State Route 530, that goes out through Arlington, which is north of us, and it's actually the city that our new studio is in. And it's also the city that we both graduated from and the city that I lived in.
And you should probably mention you have some family in that area, too.
And I live just a couple miles from where this happened. So basically, there's a big hill right there, and there was a landslide. A
giant mudslide that came down into... You can see on this map here, there's houses down in this area. There's a river right here.
All the black specks.
And this area just kind of came all down into that and just really kind of covered it all up. It was pretty traumatic. Part
of the reason why it happened is because we had record rain in the month of March. It was like something like 8 or 9 inches.
Yeah.
When it's normally 4 or 5. And there's also there's people coming out saying, it's that there was clear cutting that happened up on the hill that contributed to this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I have a video of that.
And there's been mudslides in the past as well.
Well, yeah, if you slide it back, there's an outline of the 2006 slide, which they believed to have actually happened because of clear cutting.
Sort of being a warning sign in a sense.
Yeah. So there were. So here are a couple of facts. There were 49 structures in the path of this slide. Some of them were RVs, some of them were vacation homes, some of them were, full-time, fully occupied homes. Unfortunately, it happened exactly 2 weeks ago, 30 minutes from now. So it was exactly 2 weeks ago.
So it was Saturday. Yeah, I remember. Yeah. It was Saturday. And
it was two Saturdays ago.
Yeah, and we didn't realize, at first when you told me there was a mudslide, I was like, okay. It didn't seem like it was this level of a tragedy. Right.
I don't think anybody knew, but there were literally houses on the 530 on the road.
Wow.
It's crazy.
So, what are we at, human casualty wise right now? What are those numbers?
Oh, yeah. I meant to grab that. I think it's they have 30 confirmed dead, 29 are identified, and 13 are still missing.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. So the one that there were a lot of really sad things about what happened here, and I'm not going to go into the details because I don't want it to be
super
sad show.
Yeah.
But one thing that was really frustrating while watching this is that they didn't announce new numbers for 3 or 4 days straight. It was why aren't you guys finding people? What's going on? Well, they were finding people, but unfortunately, they're only finding part of people.
Yeah, I want to play a little bit of this clip if we can, just because it talks a little bit about some of the frustration that the rescuers have to deal with.
The enormity of the tragedy in Washington State is difficult to comprehend, but this brought it home for many of us today. This is 4-month-old Sanoa Violet Eustace. Her body was pulled from the mudslide today, the youngest victim recovered so far. That brings the known death toll to 26. The number is expected to rise. 90 people are still listed as missing. John Blackstone is following the search tonight. John?
Sharon, the landslide impact zone is just about half-mile down the river. It's been raining here for much of the day, making conditions even worse for searchers already struggling in wet and deep mud. Search and rescue crews are finding the job no easier than when they started.
They have found people here. And
Battalion Chief Steve Mason has been in charge of the search since Saturday.
trees, mud, dirt, residences, cars, motorhomes, boats, everything that everyone would have in a neighborhood is now strewn out here. So it basically is going inch by inch through here and looking. They look at the area, they bring the machine in, the machine very gingerly picks up small bites of material, set it off to the side, people go through that material, people look where the machine has just pulled out some material. If the machine's okay, it goes back and pulls some more material out.
Seismic readings show there were actually 2 landslides. The largest came first, lasting 2 minutes, flowing across the river, burying most of the community of Oso and cutting off the only highway through the valley. The tremors were felt by seismic equipment 170 miles away. 4 minutes later, a smaller second slide fell into the valley. Don Moore is helping build a temporary road past.
So that's kind of amazing. That gives you a summary of where it's at. That report's from a few days ago.
Yeah. Now, and I don't think I've ever done a faux show on this sad of a topic before.
I know.
So I know it's kind of a downer, but it hit close to home, literally, and I wanted people to know about it. So there were rescues in the first day. There were 8 rescues. 7 of them survived. And unfortunately, nobody was found after that. A couple dogs and cats were found after that. But, there weren't too many rescues on that. Unfortunately, because it was on a Saturday, everybody was home.
Yeah.
A lot of people were home.
One of the things I found interesting is one of the really valuable resources in all of this, helping people and coordinating the local community in a way that is really hyper-local and hyper-focused, is the independent podcasting community. What are those guys called? They're in their, I think they're in their garage as well, right?
Yeah.
Some podcasters who are getting together and doing podcasts to get information out to just to the local residents. And it's something that big media would never really be able to afford to do. I mean, they can run these big reports, but helping individual people connect with individual people, running message boards so that way people can, connect, and family members out of town can, can contact somebody to find out, hey, have you heard from my family? Yep. That's an amazing resource, and it's such a cool way that the internet can be used in an emergency like this that is unique and new.
Mm-hmm. It was Breaking Skagit.
Breaking Skagit.
So Matt is up in Skagit County.
Yeah.
And so these guys were from Skagit County, and they just got on and they started taking missing peoples and all sorts of information and pushing it out to people. I'm not sure if they started the 530 slide hashtag, but there are some official pages on Facebook.com/530 slide relief is the official Facebook page. And then there's an official Twitter page, twitter.com/SR for state route.
Okay.
SR 530 slide. And then there's all sorts of ways to help. There's something really cool going on with Teespring, in fact.
Yeah.
So there is this relief for Oso, Washington, because it's in Arlington, but it's the town of Oso. And so I saw this shirt.
Look at that. It's verified donation. That's cool, too.
That is the cool part.
Yeah.
So when this started up, I was like, well, I don't know if somebody's just trying to make a buck. But,
right, exactly.
But I want to support this somehow. Yeah. And I know that, the shirts are good. Well, actually, in this case, I like hoodies. But I know the hoodies are awesome. I'd love to support in some way. So I bought it before they put this verified donation on there. But I'm so glad they did that because it does say 100% of the profits are donated.
Right.
Somebody at Teespring verified that the person isn't just trying to make a buck.
Make a quick internet buck.
Yeah. And there's in the
Bitcoins for Oso, send them to this address. It's like, how do you?
Yeah.
But actually, I laugh. But there is actually some crypto. There is some cryptocurrency being raised too, not just Bitcoin, but also Doge and all kinds of stuff. There's a Bitcoin donation relief fund going on right now for Oso, which is amazing.
Right. So there's a couple other hashtags like Oso Strong, which is actually really catchy. Yeah. This is another sweatshirt that's on here, but it has not been 100% donation verified yet.
Oso, I'll add this to my Twitter waterfall. Oso Strong.
Okay.
So now I have. There we go.
And then get back to my thing here. You saw the interactive.
This is cool too. Sound Storage MC is doing a load of donations, and they're taking them up to the Oso. So you can get them there by 5 o'clock. Lots of local stuff like that.
Tons. In fact, tons. Like the Papa John's last Thursday, all profits for that day went to the
Cool.
like. There's all sorts of things. There is a on this website here, Northwest Music Scene. There's an Oso mudslide benefit show list, and look at this list.
Wow.
All of these local artists
That's
are
a
playing
huge
and
list.
donating all of their proceeds to the families.
Wow, that makes me
Because
want to go to those.
Not only did they lose, some people lose everything, but I don't think their insurance is going to cover it. They are calling it a mud flow, not a mudslide.
What?
I know. And calling it a mud flow may cover like their mortgages and stuff, but some of these people are still going to have to pay mortgages on houses that don't exist anymore.
Because it's a mud flow?
No, because if it's deemed a mudslide.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
if it's a mud flow, it might get covered.
Wow.
I know. Yeah, there's some insanity about that
That is really frustrating.
all around.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. And
I'm still watching the waterfall here. Lots of people doing Oh So Strong now too. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are
can you
just
add multiple?
yeah. See, I got 530 and Oh So
that's
Strong.
awesome.
Yeah, this is twitterfall.com.
Okay, I'm gonna have to use Twitterfall. That is awesome. Twitter is actually how I stayed current on this. I would watch the live. I'd go to Como News /live, and I would check Twitter. And man, between those two, I had like everything, and it was too much. Honestly, I actually got to the point where I almost thought I needed to call the grief line because they had one available, or I think they still do.
You can way overload on this.
Because it's just super sad, and I feel so helpless. And
I kind of wanted to talk to you about that a little bit.
my friends.
Go ahead. Finish your
my
thought.
friends were affected. Like, the house with the flag in it. That was her aunt's house,
And it's right by your mom.
yeah.
I mean, it's heavy stuff.
Well, my mom lives at the bottom
So,
of a freaking hill.
This
too.
is I watch a lot of live tragic events that are breaking for Unfilter, and you can really OD on this kind of stuff. So I kind of wanted to talk to you a little bit about like how you were taking it in, and were you able to cut it off, and all of that. I thought maybe, but before you do that, why don't I thank our sponsor this week? Because I think this would be a good spot to take a little break before we change gears completely, and that is Ting.com. So go over to faux.ting.com. Really, it's thanks to you guys visiting faux.ting.com that we are able to sit out here and do these shows on a Saturday for you guys. They are making it possible, and you make it possible by visiting and using our sponsor. So go over to faux.ting.com. What is Ting, Ange?
It is mobile that makes sense.
Boom! Nailed it! Yes,
I know,
in
right?
fact,
I got
Rikai, since we've done our last batch of episodes, Rikai is up in our neck of the woods now, and I gave Rikai the HTC One.
Yeah.
And so now we're using it where both of us are on the Ting plan.
Family.
It's kind of adorable. And I can pull up my Ting dashboard, and I can see my phone has used 20 megabytes. Rikai's phone has used 0 megabytes for the billing period because it just started.
And because he's on
Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And I'm driving back and forth. But so the Ting gives you all these tools to take advantage of a service that just has incredible value to begin with. Mm-hmm. So here's how it works. It's $6 a flat rate per line. And then you just pay your usage on top of that. Ting takes your minutes, your messages, and your megabytes. They add them all up at the end of the month, and whatever bucket you fall into, that's what you end up paying. And each plan on Ting, I was going to say each plan on Faux, each plan on Ting includes hotspot, tethering, voicemail, caller, all the stuff you'd expect, all the messaging stuff you'd expect. That tethering is just like you turn on tethering. You don't have to pay some special extra package. You just use the feature, and then you just pay for the data usage. And the thing that I really love as I'm setting up this new studio is this pay for what you use model. It means that like on the most times I'm paying like very little because I'm not a heavy user. Mm-hmm. But during the studio move, we're taking power up and down, and we needed internet. And I was able to take advantage of tethering and not have to worry about continually tripping like that megabyte barrier on my plan where it's like, okay, well, we're going to charge you $30 more for a days of use. I'm like, what? No, I just want to pay for what I'm using. And Ting makes that possible. Mm-hmm. And check this out. Go over to Ting's blog. So first visit faux.ting.com. That lets them know you heard about it right here on the Faux Show. Mm-hmm. They got some new stuff over on Ting you might want to check out.
Yep.
You can now pay with an Amazon Payments account.
Which is perfect because if you're an Unfiltered subscriber,
you might already have an Amazon Payments account. Seriously. Yeah. So you can now pay your Ting bill with Amazon Payments, which is amazing. Which is a great, that's a great way to, if you're making like some money from an affiliate sales, you could use that to pay your phone bill.
Yep.
And of course, Ting doesn't have any termination fee. And if you're in a contract right now, they're going to help you get out of that contract. You can find out more about that at ting.com/ETF. Basically, what they're going to do is you buy your Ting device, you port your number, and then you give them your ETF claim, and they'll give you $75 of Ting credit for each line you have to cancel. And on top of all of that, Ting has amazing customer service. Call them at 1-855-TING-FTW anytime between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern. and a real Canadian answers the phone. And
A real Canadian.
Yeah.
As opposed to the fake Canadians.
No, a real Canadian. Like, they're actually there in Canada with their smiles on, and they're empowered to answer your problem.
Yep. Now, I am going to go ahead and coordinate the mail sack into this.
Oh. So what do we have, Ange, in the very brand new, super fresh Jupiter? Mail sack.
All right. So I want you guys to keep in mind that the subject of today's show and Ting kind of actually go hand in hand.
Okay.
Because
lay it on me, Andrews.
These people are needing to afford a bunch of things, and the best way to do that is to have a pay-as-you-use system.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go ahead and read. Don't go to the screen. I'm going to go ahead and read this
email
that we got.
Okay.
And it's great. Okay. It's from a guy named Chris. Weird.
Not me,
have, I swear to God, half of our audience their name is Chris.
It's so crazy common.
Okay. All right. So, hello, Angela and Chris.
Hello.
Here is a feel-good Ting story.
Okay.
Which I'm glad he said that, because in the first couple paragraphs, it's a little rough. Okay. I live in Canada.
Okay.
And for my first real vacation in years, my family and I were going to go to Florida and stay with my parents for the month of February 2014.
Okay.
I wanted to avoid high roaming fees on my Galaxy S3 and have a phone for my wife to use as well. So I figured I would get a used Sprint phone and activate it on Ting. I used one of the Jupiter Broadcasting Ting URLs, can't remember which one.
Faux.ting.com.
And he obviously listens to a couple. And created my account with no problem. I was able to get a Sprint Galaxy S2 Epic.
Nice.
Still a nice phone, off of eBay for a good price. After trying unsuccessfully to activate the phone myself and getting billing error codes from the webpage, I called the Ting helpline.
Good man.
Even though I have watched many Jupiter Broadcasting shows and heard many times how Ting's customer service is superior, I was still surprised at the quick pickup.
Yeah.
And the no problem, I can get that done for you right now attitude that was coming from the other end of the phone. The problem was that I could not put my Canadian credit card on the account to pay for the service.
They're on to you.
Which is kind of weird since they're a Canadian company.
But it's a U.S. company.
So, bummer for me, because that's all I got. The last suggestion to get me going was to get a prepaid credit card once I got over the border and activate it that way. So simple, I never even thought of that.
And now they have Amazon payments, might even make it easier for them.
Yep. After a long overnight drive, we stopped in South Carolina for a hotel. I was able to make a quick side trip to get a prepaid card, got my Ting account activated, and the phone entered in. However, the phone itself would not cooperate.
Uh-oh.
It just wouldn't see the network or get any connection. Figuring I was just too tired to think straight, I decided to leave it for later. We made it to Walt Disney World, Florida the next day for the first part of our trip, but the phone would still not talk to the network.
Uh-oh.
To take a break from carrying suitcases and bags from the van to the hotel room, I gave another call to Ting for some troubleshooting.
Hey, buddy.
Within 3 questions and 1 minute, I was being directed on how to manually program the phone to get it on the network, which, of course, worked on the first try. Amazing.
Probably had the old network settings in it.
The rest of the month was uneventful for the phone, as you would want it to be. But Ting's sliding bill rates were much better than anything I would have gotten anywhere else. We basically had no minutes used, surprisingly very little megabytes, but tons of texting for coordination between myself, my wife, and my brother-in-law, who joined us too. After the whole month, the $25 Ting credit that I got from signing up through Jupiter Broadcasting covered everything.
There you go.
With some left over.
There you go.
You can't beat that at all. One thing that pushes good vibes about the people who work at Ting, my dad and I have the same first name. Heather was one of the people I spoke to early on in trying to set up my account and getting the billing settled.
Mm-hmm.
So I told her what the vacation plan was and the other objectives I was trying to accomplish with this phone.
Mm-hmm.
When I finally got to my parents' house, the address I used in my Ting account, there was a postcard sitting there from her. A personalized, hand-drawn postcard, picture attached. Would you see any other company doing that or letting their people do that? My mother did grill my dad slightly about what is Ting, who is Heather, and why is she sending you postcards, which has to be the most hilarious part of all of this.
That is so awesome. Should I show that?
Yeah.
That is so great. Look at that. That's the hand-drawn postcard that they made for him.
Enjoy Florida, Chris.
That is so cool. Ting is really neat.
So there's that. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So, It's just, yeah.
There's so many different scenarios.
Even for, like, obviously it would be good if Ting was your primary carrier forever, but even in, like, vacation, like,
or,
that is amazing.
We have people in the audience who just buy the MiFis, and it's $6 it's a $6 MiFi after you buy it initially, and then when you go somewhere, that's when you use it, and you just pay for when you use it.
Right. And you know what? That is the thing. Like, nobody has open wireless anymore. It's insane. It's locked down everywhere.
It's also, there's the security aspect of just jumping on random Wi-Fis where you can have your own MiFi device that you know is safe.
Sure.
So faux.ting.com, and a big thank you to Ting for sponsoring the Faux Show. We really appreciate it. And we've heard some great stories from you guys. And please continue to send those in because it makes us smile. It really does.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a great one. I especially like the twist at the end with the postcard and the same name. I mean, his dad's name is Chris,
over the top. The postcard's over the top. That's awesome.
It is awesome.
Okay, Andrews, we got any other things that we want to touch on before we wrap up?
Okay, yeah. So you can also, if you do want to support the Red Cross, the 530 slide, you can donate to the Red Cross. Apparently, the Seattle Seahawks are working with Red Cross.
I think maybe they're matching. Wouldn't that be amazing?
There are a lot of matchings going on.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
I know. It says right there, join the Seattle Seahawks in supporting the American Red Cross.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really cool.
Another thing you can do...
And we'll have a link to that in the show notes.
Yeah, another thing you can do is text. Let me find my show doc. Where'd it go?
Too many tabs.
You can text Red Cross to 90999, and I don't know if that works internationally. It probably does not.
The website probably does, though.
But yeah. So also... I am still collecting last 300 pictures and coins. Let me pull that up.
Your hoodies and your coins. We've gotten a ton of really good ones from you guys. We've been really excited to see what you guys have sent in.
So here's the good old Jupiter Broadcasting Instagram.
Yep, and that's Instagram.com/Jupiter Broadcasting if you want to see what other folks who watch the shows look like.
And also, and see the progress of the JB1, which is what we're calling the new studio.
Yep. JB1 pictures are in there for the construction stuff.
I really like this one.
Yeah, that's a great one.
That guy's an artist.
Yeah.
He did this one, too.
Show him the picture of my perspective of TechSnap on Thursday. Did you have that in there?
Ding, ding, ding,
there we go. That's what
ding.
my view looks like when I'm doing TechSnap.
That's what our view right now looks like. This is JBHQ headquarters. Our house will always remain the headquarters.
JBHQ. And the studio's JB1.
Yep.
There you go. So send in your photos. We're going to be doing an episode that spotlights those in the future.
In May.
Yep.
Yeah. I think, is that it?
Yeah, and if you want to get a hold of the Faux Show, we'd love to hear from you. Just go to jupiterbroadcasting.com, click the contact link, and choose Faux Show from the drop-down. And just a heads up, while we're doing the studio move, the Faux Show won't be live on Saturdays for the next few weeks. But you can always just track where the Faux Show is at because we'd love to have you live. Go over to jupiterbroadcasting.com/calendar, and that's always where we'll keep that up to date. Plus, it'll show it in your time zone. It's like computer magic.
Yeah, it's awesome.
All right, Andrews, take us out.
All right, that's it for this episode of the Faux Show. We'll see you, in 10 minutes, but next week. Don't forget, you can catch recent episodes of The Faux Show on
JupiterBroadcasting.com/Faux Show.
Also, get them on demand in the iTunes store. Search for Faux Show.